Go ahead.
Hey everyone, I am Jyoti Shah. I work for ADP and I'm a director of applications development. And I have 18 years of experience in IT industry, being a full stack Java developer throughout my career, worked on front end, back end, database, everything that you would consider that comes in an application development. Over the past couple of years, I have led transformative initiatives that connect data strategies to real business. So, with strong focus on governance and empowering cross-functional teams. So that is where is I come from. So I'm so excited to bring you this topic. It's a research-based topic. As you can see, not lot of things have been covered over here. So it's my research. I've written a paper over there. Once my talk is done, I can share the links to get feedback from all of you. So let me start sharing screen. Okay, and let me go into presentation mode. Please let me know if you all see it.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get started. Today, I'm going to talk about ethical and legal issues in AI. So it's dual-edged sword. AI is transforming every sector of society, but it also brings complex ethical and legal challenges that we must address as technology advances. Today, I will focus on 4 critical issues: bias and discriminations, privacy concerns, accountability, and intellectual property, highlighting real world example and evolving legal responses. AI is transforming industries and daily life, but it also raises significant ethical and legal challenges. Key concerns include potential for the AI system to perpetuate bias and discrimination, threats to privacy through mass data collection and surveillance, difficulty in accountability for AI driven decisions, and unresolved questions around intellectual property for AI generated creations. Policymakers and regulators worldwide are grappling with these issues, aiming to promote innovation while safeguarding rights and societal values. Discrimination and bias in AI. AI system can unintentionally encode and amplify human biases.
Jyoti, your slide didn't move. We're still on the first slide. Is that what you intended?
Yeah, we're not seeing your slide deck in presentation mode.
Oh, okay. One second. I'm so sorry. Did it stop sharing suddenly?
Oh, we see it. It's just not in presentation mode, the other person was saying. But we still see the first one, the intro, and you moved on to that one. Yeah, it looked like you were going to talk about that. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Is this good? So it's not
okay, but
working presentation
we are
mode?
seeing it in editing mode, Jyoti. No,
okay.
if you click the icon at the top that shows the screen.
Okay.
I think
is this good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm so sorry for the interruption. Okay, so let's talk about bias and discrimination in AI. AI systems can unintentionally encode and amplify human biases, leading to discriminatory outcomes. Machine learning models learn from historical data. If that data reflects societal biases, then AI may reproduce or even worsen those biases. This has been observed across multiple high stakes domains. For example, Amazon's hiring algorithm favored male candidates. So Amazon's experimental hiring algorithm which was trained on past resumes and thus learned a preference for male candidates. Amazon ultimately scrapped the tool upon realizing it was discriminating against women. Mortgage algorithms disproportionately rejected minority applicants. Court risk assessment tools misclassified Black defendants as high risk. And healthcare algorithms underestimated risk for Black patients. These cases show how AI can reinforce inequality under the guise of objectivity. The bias arose between the algorithm used healthcare spending as a proxy for health. Due to systematic inequalities, less money was spent on Black patients with equal illness, causing the AI to underestimate their risk. Is the next one visible? Legal responses to AI bias?
No. You're still on slide 2.
Okay. 1 second. Are you all able to see now?
Yes, legal responses we see.
Okay. So I'll just go with this mode. Looks like it's not working with. Okay. Legal responses to AI biases. Existing anti-discrimination laws like Title VII in the US already apply to AI-driven decisions. New York City's Local Law 144 now requires annual bias audits for hiring AI tools, while the EU AI Act classifies recruitment, credit, and law enforcement AI as high risk, demanding risk assessment and bias mitigation. There's a growing push for transparency, audits, and updates to existing laws to ensure algorithmic fairness. Privacy concerns. So, my next topic is privacy concerns in AI. AI's hunger for data and the capabilities of modern surveillance technologies poses serious privacy threats. AI's reliance on massive data set raises significant privacy risk, often collecting personal data without explicit consent. Advances in AI-driven surveillance like facial recognition and biometric monitoring can erode civil liabilities. For example, Clearview AI scrapping of billions of photos triggered lawsuit under Illinois' biometric privacy law. Legal frameworks like general data protection regulation are evolving to protect individuals, but balancing innovation and privacy remains a challenge. Are you all able to see this slide? Intellectual property challenges. Okay. Intellectual property challenges. The rise of AI has generated difficult questions in intellectual property law, particularly regarding AI generated content and inventions. Traditional IP regimes, copyright, and patent assume a human author or inventor. When creative works or novel inventions are produced with significant involvement of AI, challenges fundamental concepts of authorship, inventorship, and ownership. AI is also challenging traditional intellectual property laws. Purely AI generated works are generally not protected by copyright, as most jurisdictions require a human author. Similarly, AI cannot be listed as an inventor or patents. Ongoing legal debates focus on who owns AI generated creations and how this affects innovation and business models. Thus, when AI produces content entirely on its own, the output is effectively public domain or unprotected. Anyone could potentially reuse it. absent some new law to the contrary. Accountability and the black box problem. As AI system plays a greater role that affects human, a pressing issue is accountability. Who is responsible when AI makes a mistake or causes harm? Many AI systems operate as black boxes with decisions that are opaque even to the creators. Under existing law, AI is not recognized as a legal entity, and AI cannot be sued or held liable in its own right. Liability must therefore be traced back to the humans or organization behind the AI. When AI causes harm, responsibility falls to the developers, deployers, or companies, since AI is not a legal entity. The EU's revised Product Liability Directive and AI Liability Directive extend liability to AI caused harm, and there's growing demand for explainable AI and human oversight, especially for high-risk systems. So the conclusion, future directions. Ethical and legal issues in AI are evolving rapidly, and there's no one-size-fits-for-all solutions. Ongoing dialogues between technologists, policymakers, and society is essential. Key principles moving forward are fairness, transparency, accountability, and respect for rights. Governments are beginning to update laws to clarify AI accountability. A key aspect of accountability is making AI transparent and explainable. Ethically, many argue that AI decisions affecting people's life should not be a mysterious black box. There is a push for explainable AI, techniques to make AIs working more interpretable. In conclusion, while AI holds immense promise, it also presents ethical pitfalls and legal uncertainties that society must navigate. Ensuring that AI systems are fair, privacy preserving, accountable, and respect intellectual property will require ongoing vigilance and adoption of a legal framework. The conversations between technologists, ethicists, lawmakers, and the public is more important than ever to steer AI in a direction that upholds human values and rights. By learning from early case studies and proactively addressing these issues, we can harness AI's benefit while mitigating its risk, striving for an AI infused future that is both innovative and just. We must proactively govern AI and continuously review our approaches as technology advances. By this, I conclude my talk in a very simple way. I have a article written on this, which is more detailed. I can share all of you the article so that you can go through it and provide me the feedback.
Oh, that was great, Jyoti. Thank you. I'm left with a bunch of questions. Some, specifically like is there anything within our control as consumers of AI at this point, in terms of liability, in terms of, I used AI to, maybe to look and see if I'm hiring the right people, and it did give me some biased results. What's my recourse? You said that, that's sort of a pass through because AI is not an entity, it's not responsible. So the developers, can I go sue developers?
You can go through the developers, but from your side, how you can make sure that it is free from bias is by doing a regular bias audit. And then if you feel like the model is not correct, it is giving you biased data. So it is through the company who is the developer, who is the deployer, that is where it can be held accountable at this moment.
Yeah, to your question about if you could sue the developers, I'm sure you clicked I agree on something that says you'll never sue them.
Right.
But even if if they didn't have that, it would be hard to figure out what would be the claim. Are they negligent? Are they giving you fraudulent advice? I think you'd have a very high bar to prove any kind of damages there. Just a thought.
I
I
agree. I
think
think that there is, that's sort of why I'm asking the question, because what am I going to sue Google because Gemini gave me the bad results? I think it's really hard to prove or substantiate.
That is
I'm
absolutely
curious.
correct. So, yep.
Oh, I was just curious if anybody out there that you know of is doing really good work in terms of auditing these systems. So who out there is doing the work of making this transparent to consumers?
So all of these depend on the companies or the developers who are making those models. They have a governance. For example, it's just an example. The company that I work in, we use the data. We have a governance on top of it, where we make sure that the privacy is not passed on and privacy is respected, and we make sure that all of the ethics are accounted for. So it all depends on how good the governance layer, of those AI tools are.
Yeah, and that's a very important thing to be doing, but that's also self-policing. So I'm wondering if there are any
Yes.
third-party auditing bodies. And there are some people who are doing really interesting work around measuring the energy that AI consumes, which is also kind of a black box, environmental impacts and the like. So is there an analog in terms of looking at the actual code and seeing how it addresses the issues that you're talking about? Like an NGO or a
That's
nonprofit of some sort, academic group, anything like that?
so there are vendors who does this work, which most of the bigger organization they hire to look into how ethical the AI data is. Basically, like I mentioned in my talk, that all of these models are being trained on the historic data. So how
Mhm.
historic data was, how the society is, the AI is turning into that. While we now have more visibility with these models on how a society was biased about some rights for some people, so now it opens up an area to close that gap. So that is where most of the firms they are stepping into it, and I feel like it is the responsibilities of the model creators, the data science, the governance team to make sure that ethically, legally, everything is being checked. And at every time, whenever the models are released, there is a governance that run to see how is the success rate of those model, what it is trying to do. So those are some measures that the firms are doing. There are vendors as well who try to help you over there.
I mean, how would you
And this
even,
area,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, go
what
ahead. Yeah.
standard would you even measure to?
So
Or
for
are there even
example,
standards at this point?
no, there are no standards. For example, our chief economist had shared one data regarding how the historical data is when men they change their position inside their own firm, they get an hike of 40% versus women get 30%. And then there was another research done, like men when they change their companies, they get an hike of 44%, while women get only 15%. All of these comes from the historical data. So this is how, when the reports come, when the dashboard comes, when we run through it, that is how we measure how the data is and how we can improve over there. So there is no standard as such. To answer your question, we are all learning. We are making sure how, with the use of AI, which now is giving us visibility to all the ethical issues that were happening in the past, how do we make sure those are governed properly?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably will want some kind of cross-industry body to look at that at some point.
Well,
Yes.
isn't the administration working really hard right now to make sure that there are no guideline, no guardrails at all I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah,
there's this big
another issue to
problem
consider.
with, we're talking about privacy. Meantime, Elon Musk and his minions have gotten access to our entire national database of people, and I don't know, do we have any control over that? No.
Yeah, you can't really opt out at this point.
That is correct.
I can just imagine from a legal standpoint, it's pretty scary. I mean, it's pretty scary from a privacy standpoint.
Right,
But
and there are definitely privacy claims working their way through the courts right now.
good. Okay. Are you dealing with any of those, Ginevra?
I'm not, I don't litigate, but I have been following these from the privacy side.
And I hope I was able to answer your question. As I mentioned, I'm doing research over here. So any I can help over here, do let me know.
Oh, that was great, Jyoti. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you
you,
so
Jyoti.
much for giving me the opportunity to speak over here.
Yeah. Jyoti is going to be one of our speakers in October, in November, excuse me, November 1st for our big tech dev fest at RPI. So we're really happy to have her just do this little preview, and we'll have a nice session there.
And meanwhile,
And I'm so excited for that.
Andrea is sharing the resources here. Andrea, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
No, I found that one. I was familiar with it just from being in the consulting world. So that just might be, it's top level. I mean, obviously it's not digging into it, but I do agree with you that we would like to have an interagency body. That's what I would like to see. I actually know that the UN was working on it. The UN has done some great work on AI ethics. I'm sure y'all have been following that. I have. But how we are checking for bias, I don't know. But Jyoti, I will agree with you. Not just every time the company that you're using changes their algorithm, but if you change how you're using the tools, every time you change how you're using the tools, you probably have to re-audit,
That's
and
correct.
it's like any big IT system that is, being controlled, any system like that, you have to go through a complete retesting and re-auditing because one little thing can make a big difference. That's all I got. I'm not an expert in the ethics.
Okay. So can we hear from others? What's your feedback? Do you want to add anything? Muzaffar, you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself, so would you like to unmute yourself and say where are you from?
Hey everyone.
Yeah.
I'm from New Jersey, Roseland. I work at ADP. Yeah, as a software engineer.
Okay.
It was really nice, Jyoti, hearing about generative AI and the threats AI is having right now. So yeah, it was really nice
Thank you.
connecting with you all.
Thank you so much, Muzaffar. And to tell everyone, Muzaffar works with me, and I'm so
nice.
I'm so happy to see him here. Yeah.
Hi Jyoti. I was just like got an email about some GDG event, so I was like, why not?
That is
Yes.
true. That is true. So, John, are you ready to take it from
Link to
here?
the AI report from the UN from last year. That's pretty recent. It's last year, but at least it's something. If anyone's interested in that.
Yep. Thank you for sharing all these resources. So once again, we have the two links at the beginning of our chat. The link, number one is the invitation to Slack channel if you want to join our group. And link number two is call for speakers. So this is ongoing call for speakers. So you feel free to apply for this. And if you would be interested to present in person, like lightning talk or a short talk, like Jyoti did today, right? And to have something bigger for the developers festival, that's definitely the opportunity. So you can be rehearsing and actually trying what resonates with people, what is not. Okay. Okay.
Is there something else after this?
Yes.
Another talk? Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I thought there was.
So we were thinking about to talk about GDG a little bit because GDG is Google Developers Group, as Muzaffar just noticed. And we're lucky to have different Google Developers Group in the area. Nice thing about it is we are, as a community leaders, we are in touch with each other and we always chat with each other. So once we see good talks over in different directions in GDG, for example, Boston or New Jersey or province, we're reposting. We have the opportunity to co-host the virtual events. For physical events, we do not have such a thing to co-host, but we're running in-person and virtual events. So let me address this. So we will have virtual meetups on June 19 is today. Next one is July 17, August 21st, and September 18th. October is not scheduled yet, but we think we will be busy just preparing Developers Festival, which is for November 1st, which is scheduled for November 1st.
We're also doing a hands-on workshop the night before, the evening
nice.
before. So it's November 3rd, just October 31st as well. Halloween, you don't have to wear a costume. If you want, you can dress as a developer. That's what I do.
Yeah, so there is a series of workshops or code labs which can be taken all together. And there are different approaches. We can take a study jam and study all together. Once we have a group of 10, we know because people once starting, they like not follow through. At least group of 10 would be nice reason to start learning together as a study jam and to pass the tests. So let me share my screen and address this a little bit. So that's GDG. So basically, you can see how it works. It's gdg.community.dev. And the local developers are everywhere. So you see this is geographic representation of Google developers groups. But you also can see by like Control F and see who is nearby you. We really like to work with GDG Boston. And Lawrence, it's another very active GDG, so they are very knowledgeable and very nice thing. So John does represent GDG Capital Region as well as GDG Hudson. So we like GDG Boston, as we mentioned, and this is very close to us, so we quite often go in person. So if you don't see something, you just Google it or just like ask Hudson, and you will see our chapter here highlighted, or you see the events which are scheduled by our community. So this is probably the simplest way to see what's scheduled. So this is the today's event. Also, if you have kids at the age of 9 to 14, we welcome you to summer coding camps. But basically, this one is in person, and our inaugural bike event would be October 31st, November 1st. Right now, it is the placeholder, but usually we do have about 200 people attending and free tracks, so it's really busy event. So it's Saturday. We allocated the whole Saturday for this because we know people will be working and we need them to be free there. So call for speakers is available if you click to any of those events. You can see right now it's just placeholder, when and what and where, right? And call for speaker is available right here. So yeah.
I want to give just a quick plug for our in-person meeting next month. We're really we're planning on having an in-person event on the second week of every month, and then a virtual event like this in the third week of every month. So that's what we're working on, and just to let you know.
So this sequence of event would lead toward the festival. And you can see our organizers here. So this is John, as you can recognize probably, and that's me. But for Poughkeepsie meetup in person, so we are looking forward to hear from Andrea. So think about what you want to hear from Andrea, or Andrea will give a talk she submitted already with the speakers forum. And then we will all vote just what to talk during the DevFest. On another note, there is a resource which I wanted to share with you. And as Google Developers Group, we are actually entitled or given resources which we can use for doing study jams or leading to certifications. So for example, let me show you this slide. Oh, okay. This slide deck really quick. I think it's worth just to know it exists, and this is the opportunity. Okay. So that's me. I run Hudson Valley GTG. John's photo is missing here. Okay, here's John.
Julia, click that X, would you? About the permission to play two media.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry about that. So that's what GTG, Google Developers Groups. We're not limited to do only Google stuff, but we really like to use open source. So I will skip all of these things because I wanted to show you certain certifications which would be available through Google free of charge, and you would get some credits to accomplish this, cloud credits, and probably even credits for certification for the tests. John is the one who took one of the certification, and he can talk about this with details. So we would highly recommend that. What kind of a certification?
Certifications are great. I've taken a few of them. And I wanted to talk a minute about the cloud credits. Once we get started with this, you will be able to get cloud credits and be able to do these labs without any money out of pocket, and which is sort of a double gift, in that the courses sometimes cost money, and then in order to do the courses, you'll need to use Google resources, and that's not free either. So we are through GDG. You will get the courses for free at your own pace, but also you'll get access to all the cloud resources you need at no cost to you. It's a pretty nice offer.
Yep, and even if you are not technology like savvy person, associate level certification would give you the nice understanding or overview that really uplift you very much. So let's talk what certifications are available here. So, John, you want to take it from here?
Sure, yes. So, there's a whole lot of cloud work. So Google Cloud, and there's an associate cloud engineer. We'd start there. From there, if you wanted to get higher level certifications, you can become a professional cloud developer, a professional cloud network engineer, a professional cloud security engineer. And, they obviously, these credentials build on each other. And you complete a professional cloud network engineer, having associate cloud engineer and a cloud developer under your belt, you're going to know a huge amount, and it will make you so much more employable, or attractive to companies. Then we also have machine learning and working with data. So we've got a DevOps engineer, and that's using cloud with using DevOps. Database engineer, a cloud architect. These are all more levels to get better at using Google Cloud and using these resources. All right, go ahead.
The truth is, once you're using Google Cloud, you pretty much know how to use cloud, Amazon Cloud or Azure, Microsoft Cloud going forward. So you're highly more employable once you are just showing you have this knowledge. And on another note, if you're doing any AI labs, you're using Google Cloud. So that's where the cloud credits will go again and again. forum for you, and Google just want to have to see more developers practicing with this, playing with this, and just like injecting entrepreneurial spirit, because once you are empowered with technology, you really like see the opportunity, business opportunities as well, because it's all about automation. So really quick, let's address some housekeeping things. The exams are usually 2 hours and multiple choice or multiple select and usually needed for exams. You don't need
It's a good idea to go, the exams, the certification courses are really set up for you to pass the exam.
Yeah.
The exam are not affiliated. There's, it's not, I don't think there's a lot of cross-pollination between the class and the exam.
So these are options to take exams. And actually you can do things with the study jams, study groups. So we can do it as a community. That's why I said it would be nice to have a group of 10 people and just to do it together and just through 6 weeks program, just to go together, meeting once a week. John again did this with Roman, so we would allocate the specific mentor for this, and this mentor will help you to go through slides and labs yourself, and you will feel more comfortable before you sign up with exams.
Yeah, having one of the things that's associated with GDGs, and Yulia's talking about Roman, and this is a guy he lives in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and he runs a GDG out of Lawrence with a few people.
But
And this
he's
guy,
the best mentor I know.
he's a really good mentor, but he also has a designation of GDE, which means Google Development Expert, and he's an expert on Flutter, and he's done a whole lot of work with cloud. So he's a really good resource. But he's really gotten sort of the I want to say the wave of the magic wand by Google, and they say this guy's an expert. And as a Google developer group, we have access to all of these different GDEs to give talks for us, to run study jams, all of that. So we'll put that together with this effort.
So you see access to labs, access to community, access to experts. That's the possibility. This one I wanted to address, and there is another document which I wanted to share with you. So these are labs which we can do together. And these are labs that built is sequentially, like growing your experience if you want to do it. So these are recommended by community or like experts labs to do first introduction to Gemini 2.5 Pro. And then you go with the next lab and next lab. One by one, you're taking all of them. And you're more comfortable with the advanced lab, which we did with the, oh, okay. Let me stop sharing because I don't need, how do I stop sharing? Okay. I don't need this one, but I want to find the lab. Which we really wanted to do. This was Agentic lab. Okay.
What are you looking for, Yulia?
The last lab. Okay. All these labs are available, so I think if I will put the link in, you will see how it looks like, and feel free to take those labs. Okay. Can you open it?
I'm sorry, Yulia. Did you ask me something? Did you say something? I was muted. I had my speakers off for a second.
No, everyone, can you see the link in the chat? Can you open this link?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those labs are available for everyone. Everyone can take this lab if you want to try it. So this lab is one of the simple ones. Feel free to take it. And we will share other labs as well. Is it relevant to the group?
I believe it is, Yulia.
Okay.
You know, this is, this particular lab for building AI agents. It's a nice lab. It'll take you through some stuff, but it's not a be all end all. It's designed to have you get familiar with the controls that are within these resources and allow you to use them. It's, from there, you'll have some hands-on experience that you could then do your own work, hopefully.
Okay. So that's what I had to share. And if you have any questions, let's talk about this. What do you want to do next?
Yulia, so when we go to Poughkeepsie in July, we're going to be doing a hands-on lab, right? Isn't that how the evening's set up?
It's a good question. I would suggest not to do the lab. I would suggest to do the demo.
To do the demo of the lab?
Demo of anyone's project.
I see. Okay.
If you want to give your project, demonstrate your project, this would be nice. So I can have Dmitry, for example, showing how to build website during 2 hours. Again, what I'm thinking about labs, I think it's more suitable for remote because this way people just facing the computer, they do stuff. It's kind of more easy. For the in-person events, I would not do much technology stuff. I would do like demonstration and networking. That's my thinking of it.
Okay.
How Ginevra, Harold, how do you feel about it?
Really, the question for you guys is, what would you like to see?
Yeah.
Because, while Yuli and I have ideas about what we want to present, it's not based on a particular agenda more than we want to provide information and content that's useful and helpful to anyone attending. So what's your appetite?
We have a few startups who applied to present. This is also the opportunity. Just speaking.
Yeah, I would love to see demos if people are willing to give them, if it's not confidential.
That's fine, Ginevra. What kind of demos are you looking for?
Technology demo?
Just curious about what is going on in the Hudson Valley and what people are doing in terms of product, and if they want to show off their latest projects, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, that would be great. So Yuli, you say you have these startups.
Yeah, in our speakers forum, we noticed at least 2 startups applying to speak, to present.
You'll have to say all that again because you were garbled.
Oh. At least 2 startups did apply to speak. So we will go through the forum and we'll reach out to those. And Andrea, do you think about lightning talk? Like 15 minutes talk? Would you like to?
I can do my talk in 15 minutes. Sure. It's about AI and automation.
Right. Yeah. And you don't have to limit it to 15 minutes, Andrea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm using a deck that I presented to a big audience recently. And I did it it was about 45 minutes. So I can use up whatever time you want. 15, 45, whatever you tell me.
It's like me. You can pull my string and I can just talk and talk and talk. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
so I'm
no
just
worries.
wondering,
I think
2 speakers or 1 speaker? Probably 2, right?
Yeah. I think it's a useful topic for smaller companies to understand how they can automate, because they may not be thinking that way. So I want to make sure that, get that message out there. Simple ways to automate.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Jyoti, how far it is from you, Poughkeepsie? Do you know where Poughkeepsie is?
That library is about 10 minutes away from me. So I can definitely come and help set up and do whatever you need, because
it's 45 minutes, 40 minutes for me, and for John it's probably 1 hour. Jyoti, how much for you?
It's like an hour and 10 minutes.
For me, it would be 2 hours, I think so.
Oh my, okay.
Oh, okay. It would be nice to meet you in person one day, and Muzaffar as well. But at least save the date,
Yes,
November 1st.
I'll come in
Love to
November.
see you in person. Yep.
Yes.
All the way to Troy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need to say, I didn't understand that this was a Google developer group.
It's
So
not limited.
that's not my thing. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it's not limited because I don't want to feel like,
No, no,
No, while we are a Google developer group and will lean towards Google applications and resources, it means nothing, and there's no obligation in any way
okay,
that you have to talk about Google. Actually, we don't even really have to talk about Google much. We will, because I actually really like Google.
yeah,
So,
right.
and it's the technology I'm familiar with.
No
So
worries.
we will
I just want to
be
make sure.
talking about cybersecurity as well. AI is a big thing, so we will keep talking about AI, and it's not limited to be technical, or as you can see, Jyoti did a beautiful presentation. Thank you very much. Right? I never thought about legal aspects of that. Legalities is really
I would
important.
say another topic that I think is a really good topic. I know those of us in professional services are struggling with, right? Consultants, lawyers, CPAs, is how do we bring up the younger generation in our profession? Because we want them to use AI. There's an expectation of our clients that we're going to do things faster because of AI, but they also need to now learn critical thinking faster than they did before.
Yeah, that's really
But then
That's
important.
correct. Yeah.
for a long time, for them to learn that critical thinking and some other skills. So I also have a talk that I do on that if there's ever any interest. And that's
Oh, I'm
very
interested.
technology agnostic.
I'm very interested in that, Andrea, because I teach computer
Right.
science college students, right? In the fall, I'm going to teach a course called Introduction to Computer Science. It's like this is how programming works. I mean, it's as basic as it gets,
Right.
and the students will learn Python. And there's it's a course that's been around
I
a
got
really long
Python in my
time.
other browser here. Good.
Oh, good. It's a course that's been around a long time.
Yep.
So the homeworks and the exams and all that stuff, kids know about them.
Yep.
And our worry is that they'll get a homework and they'll go, okay, AI, do the homework for me.
Mhm.
And then miss all the goodies that you get out of struggling with a problem. Um,
It's a big problem in education. It's
big
existential.
problem.
Yeah.
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 And so, my colleagues and I are always in conversation about, well, how do we deal with this? We haven't come up with anything great yet, except to really have the students get the cost to them of taking these shortcuts.
Mm.
We do have, there's also the non-AI, which is, hey, I took the course last semester. Here are the
Right.
answers,
There was
right?
always that anyway. Right. Right.
Right. And so we have tools for that.
Yep.
And so what we're doing now is taking